Is there a number?
1729.
Is that a real boat or a toy boat?
Toy boat. I keep coming back to Syria.
Were you born in Rome?
No, I think we travelled back to where my father's home was.
Why didn't your father want to stay in Spain?
Many troubles.
When did you get married?
I was 53. Elchinta.
I'd like you to take a nice deep breath. As you let that breath out, you can close your eyes when you're ready and just take a few more deep breaths.
Sarah is one of my best friends. I've known her for quite a few years. I used to commute up to London every day, and so did Sarah, and we started travelling up, and there was a group of us used to sit together, and we got to know each other very well. On Fridays we took it in turns to provide cupcakes, so we used to have Cupcake Friday on the train, and I think other commuters were quite envious of our Friday morning party that we used to have every week. When we did the pilot, we hypnotised, I think, 5 subjects in a day, and one of the people that we used was Sarah. She had a phenomenal, she went very deep in the hypnotic session and had a really, really interesting life. I know Sarah really well, and she's a very honest, straightforward person. She's a great subject for me because I know that she's not going to fake anything, that what you're getting is genuine, and that's very important to me. She went very deep during the hypnotic session, and so I was keen to use her again. So Sarah's one of the few people that we hypnotised both for the pilot and for the first series.
Is there a number?
1729.
I'd like you to look down at your feet, please. Do you have anything on them?
Like a leather sandal.
Can you describe them a little to me?
Dark brown. Strap around my ankle.
Full disclosure, from an editing perspective, the reason why I was editing it is because there are often very, very long pauses between responding. So if I were to ask you a question, then you would take sort of 30 seconds to a minute to formulate a response under hypnosis. Not every time, but often. Often that is a problem.
I don't know whether it's because it's, further back is harder to remember things. I'm not really sure, but I would say that probably the older the century, there's probably a lot more that you're trying to get your subconscious to dig for. So it's hard because I've done readings for people who have been absolutely spot on and very specific about dates, and it was 1700. So I think it depends on the individual and maybe how deep they are, maybe how important that life and those memories are to them, that they're not necessarily having to fish it. Some lives are kind of just below the surface. The lives that, if you're absolutely mental about the medieval period or you've always loved the 18th century, they're a little bit underneath the surface because you've obviously still got that energy for it. When we're going back to something that perhaps you've not thought about in centuries, maybe it's harder to dig up those memories. Theory.
Can you work your way up your body now, just taking in what you're wearing? You can take your time, but can you describe to me what you have on?
Grey crumpled trousers. Like a cream, mighty cream. Top with no collar. Short sleeve.
When it comes to Sarah, I've actually hypnotised her before, and she is quite a classic case. She goes quite deep, and she takes a long time between each question to answer it, and that can seem quite boring to the viewer, but actually that is a case of going quite deep, because time when you are in hypnosis isn't always exactly the same as when you're having a conversation, because you are accessing memories and you're accessing your subconscious. So sometimes it does take quite a long time to look for the answer or find the answer, and she's quite a classic case.
No detail on it.
If you go up to your head, do you have anything on, or what's your hair like?
Short, dirty, straggly, different lengths to about the nape of the neck. Got stubble around the beard area.
What do you find yourself doing here today?
Working, I think. And my hands, because my hands look sore.
Do you know what work you do?
There's wood on a bench and tools.
Can you describe the tools?
Some sort of like a file, a long file type metal thing, wooden hammer, rectangle, different knives, some leather straps, small window in the distance.
What are you making?
Looking around the room, I can see doll's house, some sort of puppet type thing, boat,
Is that a real boat or a toy boat?
toy boat,
Who are you making these things for?
sell. Someone sells them.
Is it your workshop?
No,
So you work for someone?
yes,
Who is it that you work for?
man sits out front,
Does he have a name?
something like Brian, something, that doesn't feel right though. Bran.
I felt she was getting names kind of mixed up to begin with, and I was sort of thinking, well, you know, we've got Brian and then it could be Bran, and trying to sort of see if it could fit in.
What's the name of his shop?
There's no sign,
Where is this shop?
just off a busy, where the people are walking, it's just off the side, it's darker.
Is it in a town?
Yes,
What's the town?
can't make it out. Is it Syria? No, it's not, no. I keep coming back to Syria.
What country is it in then?
We're near Rome.
And she's talking about Rome, and actually, even in the Roman period, the early Roman period, it was a multicultural city with people coming from all over. So she's probably trying to access a name that she's trying to grasp. It's almost like it's sort of slightly out of out of place and she's trying to grab it. So she's sort of searching for it. She can sort of almost see it. But yes, it could be anything because of Rome being so multicultural. So I find that quite interesting.
Were you born in Rome?
No, I think we travelled.
Where did you travel from?
I can see us travelling through countries or different lands back to where my father's home was.
Where's your father's home?
Syria.
What's your father called?
I don't know.
What's your mother's name?
Zerpa.
Zerpa. That's an unusual name. Where's she from?
Oh. Spain, but she's angry.
Why is she angry?
She was taken away.
Who took her away?
My father.
What, on purpose?
No. Go back to his home.
Ah, and she didn't want to go?
No.
Why didn't your father want to stay in Spain?
Too many troubles.
So how have you ended up in Rome then?
We've just travelled. I keep seeing the Colosseum. Maybe that's where we're heading to. Maybe we haven't got there yet.
So
And
the
mother's not with us now.
Oh, what happened to Mum?
Just wasn't there. Just disappeared, wasn't there.
Did something happen to her, do you think?
I don't know. Dad didn't say.
What do you think happened?
I think he just moved on without her, left her somewhere.
How does that make you feel?
Worried
Worried for your mum?
for me.
How old are you?
20, 21.
And so, how did you come to be at the shop, making toys?
I've always liked playing with wood. We needed money. We've stayed here for a while now. He got me a job, my dad.
Are you going to stay for a while, or are you going to move on?
I don't know. I just come every day, do what I've asked, been told to do. Go home.
And where's home? Where are you living?
In a building with other people, lots of people.
In Rome?
No, I think that's where we're going to end up. It doesn't feel like it's near.
What does your dad do?
Deals with men and drinks.
When you say deals with men, what does that mean?
Negotiate things.
What sort of things does he negotiate?
They don't let me near. But I don't think it's... The men look rough, so I don't think it's legal.
So I'm going to ask you some questions now, and you don't have to worry about thinking about what happens or the answers. Just allow it to come. Just accept whatever comes into your head. What's your name?
Brian.
That's your name.
Brian.
That's your name, is it?
I-N.
How old are you?
20.
What's the name of the place that you're in?
Syria.
What country is that in?
Don't know. I don't know. Can't think.
And just to confirm, what year is it?
17. 20. 17, 21.
1721. So do you feel that it's is where you are in Europe?
Yeah, I feel panicky.
Why do you feel panicky?
I think we're travelling. We've stopped here, but we're travelling without being noticed, keeping low.
Why do you need to keep low?
I think because Mum's missing. Dad's dealings. This siren. That's where we are, siren.
Siren. That's where you are?
Yeah, siren.
Do you know what country that's in?
Trying to look.
So what country, if you're travelling, what country have you just come from then?
France.
In which direction were you heading?
We went past a really big castle. We're heading south. We've gone through France.
So when you went through France heading south, what country did you go into? Next, which was the next country you went into?
I don't know.
Okay, no problem. So I'd like you to let those images fade now. Tell me where you find yourself now.
Outside the shop, outside where I work, I'm still here. I'm older.
How old are you?
49.
You stayed a while.
I'm on my own now.
You still work in the shop?
Yeah,
You have the same boss?
he's old. I'm not as scared or frightened now. I feel calmer.
What's your boss called?
Simon.
And where is the shop again?
Just off the busy part. Down the side alley.
When you say the busy part of where?
Town, lots of people.
Okay, what town is it?
Sire. I can see the word, but it's not giving me the last letters.
Can you spell it maybe? What letters can you see?
C-Y-R. I. It's just all blurry.
Okay. What country is it in?
Italy.
Whereabouts in Italy?
Where it's warm, where the hills are. You can see hills in the distance. Warm.
What part's that then?
I know.
What's the nearest big town?
Keep seeing Rome.
Rome, okay. So is Rome within where you are?
No.
So Rome's
No.
quite far, is it?
Mm.
So where you are, is Rome above you or below you?
No, just straight ahead.
Okay. So what do you make in your shop now?
Bowls.
Bowls? Bowls of what?
Different types of bowls. Put fruit in or soup in. Juice.
What do you make them of?
Wood.
Is that your trade now then?
Yes.
Are you good at what you do?
I think so.
Do you sell a lot?
It's a steady flow, but I'm happy now. I haven't got, not frightened anymore.
Why were you
I'm
frightened?
I didn't know why we were there at first, what we were doing. Dad's not there now. More settled.
What happened to your dad?
Just died, natural, died.
How long's he been gone?
7 years.
And are you on your own?
Yes.
You don't have anyone?
No. Happy though.
So you never met anyone?
Just talk to people.
Did you have friends? Do you have a good life there?
2 friends.
What year is it?
17. 40 something.
You know,
48.
48. You know what's happening in the country and around the country, or do you hear what's happening in the world?
No. Just sometimes there's commotion.
What type of commotion?
Angry people talking, parading.
What are they angry about?
I don't know. I don't get involved. Treatment.
Is it easy to live, or is life difficult?
It's okay for me.
I find it really interesting to consider the idea that if Sarah's past life was lived as an Italian man or a Syrian man or a French man or just somebody from a country other than England that was not an English speaking country, or the primary language was not English, isn't it an interesting concept that she would be translating what she's witnessing under hypnosis. Her subconscious would have to translate what they were saying to be able to understand. If the tale wasn't made up from her subconscious, which I have no reason to believe that it would be, then she would have been translating the language in her mind as well, which is just fascinating to consider. And it's perhaps why her responses were a little bit slower. And Sarah often responds very slowly. She answers the questions very slowly unless she's sure and she's really in it. And it would make sense that it would take a bit longer if she were having to translate the language that she was experiencing in the past life. And she may not even realise that she's doing it. Her brain may have already made the translation for her, but I don't see how somebody that wouldn't necessarily have spoken English, I don't see how they could be speaking English in her mind unless she's translating it.
What are you wearing today?
Trousers. A jumper. Brown. Covered shoes. Gloves.
What's your jumper made out of?
Wool.
Has it been knitted? What type of, how's it been put together?
Big stitches, yeah, knitted.
And how come you're wearing gloves?
My hands are cold while I'm working today.
What's your gloves made of?
Leather.
And what's she working on today?
Large bowl.
You smiled then. Are you happy?
Yeah.
You like your work?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like you to let those images just fade now for a moment. And as they fade, I want your subconscious to take you forward in time, forward to a significant event in your life. And as the images reform, tell me what you're doing.
I'm in a house. There's someone with me. Lottie.
Who's Lottie?
She's my wife.
When did you get married?
I was 53. She's in her 40s. She used to come into the shop.
That's quite late to get married.
It was quiet.
You were quiet. Has Lottie been married before?
He died, her husband.
Is Lottie her full name or is that a nickname?
Lochinta.
Where does Lochinta come from? Or Lottie, where does she come from?
The local town.
What's the local town?
Very It won't give me the full name.
It's okay.
It's blurry at the end.
That's all right. So you're pretty much in the same place, you haven't moved, yeah? And this house, how did you get hold of this house? Did you build it or?
No. No. I saved my money. It's a small house.
What does Lottie do?
Keeps the home tidy. She does my books. Simon's an old man. He gave me the shop.
How does that make you feel?
Happy, peaceful. She cooks for him every day.
Sounds nice.
She's plump and happy.
What does she look like?
Long hair, grey. Smiley face. Always smiling.
Do you love her?
Yeah.
What sort of clothes does she wear? What are her dresses like?
They're quite full, long, always an apron, always. Out on a Sunday.
What year is it?
1750, 50 something. 53, 4.
How old are you?
No, 56.
How long have you been married to Lottie now?
3 years.
Do you have any plans for the shop, or are you going to just keep it as it is?
Just make prettier things. Things for the home.
Have anyone working for you?
Apprentice.
What's your apprentice's name?
Luke.
How old is he?
16.
Is he a good apprentice?
Cheeky.
Are you happy with his work?
He runs faster than what he should, but he listens. He's got potential, I can see it in him, he's got the right skills. Just need to teach him. Be patient.
So when you're not working, what do you and Lottie do?
We walk. We go for walks. She reads to me. I'm not good at reading.
What sort of things does she read to you?
Adventures. Stories of adventures. people.
What are your favourites?
The ones where they go on great adventures and are happy at the end and settled.
Are you happy that you stayed, or would you have preferred to travel more?
And stayed.
You're happy that you stayed.
Mm.
Do you ever hear from your mother again?
No.
What do you think happened to her?
I like to think she made her way back to her family.
So did Lottie have children with her
No.
first
No.
husband? So you don't have any other family other than Lottie?
No. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like you to let those images fade now. And as those images reform, tell me what you're up to.
We're sitting outside our home. Watching the world go by.
And how old are you now?
But no, I'm wrinkled.
Is Lottie with you?
Yeah.
How old's Lottie?
70 something, 70. No. Yeah, 70. No. No. About 60. 67.
And you're a bit older than Lottie, yeah?
Mm.
What year is that?
1760 something.
And is it the same home that
Yes.
you've always lived in?
Yes.
What's the street that you live on?
No street. Just a few houses dotted around. More.
Do you still have the shop?
Yes.
Do you still work in the shop?
Sometimes.
So when you don't work in the shop, who works in the shop?
Marcus and Luke.
And you happy with them working there?
Yeah.
Are you happy with your life?
Yeah.
And so, just to confirm, are you near Rome then?
It feels near, but not in it.
Mm-hmm. And what nationality was your dad?
Italian.
And what nationality was your mum?
Spanish.
What's your dad's name?
Brighton.
And what's your name?
Number 2.
But do you have a real name?
Lottie calls me Paps.
Perhaps. Do you have a given name though?
You left it.
You left it. Why did you leave it?
When I met Lottie.
Why did you do that?
New life. New beginnings.
So do you and Lottie have a surname? What's your surname?
Don't know.
What was Lottie's name? What was her surname? Her family name?
Lucina Casso.
I thought that the names that Sarah recalled in this session were believable. There was a Luca, he may have been referred to as Luke later, an apprentice. There was a Marcus. There was Lucinta Casa, which was his beautiful wife that he obviously adored. There was Simon, and I suppose I would have liked it to have sounded a bit more Italian when the name Simon was used, Simone or something like that. But the name was Simon. But they're quite biblical names and quite believable. So I thought that was interesting. It's possible that the reason why the names are English sounding pronunciations of the names rather than Italian pronunciations is that Sarah's translating from Italian. Her subconscious is speaking in English, but the memories are Italian, and maybe she's translating and we're losing the original name in translation. Who knows?
Casso. Looking back on your life, do you feel that you've had a successful life?
It's been happier the later years.
I'd like those images to fade now. And as you sit there and rest there, I want you to reflect on the experience that you've just had, that life that you've just had, and allow a few words of wisdom, some knowledge, some learning from that life to just spring into your thoughts. Tell me what you feel, what you're thinking about.
I'm glad they're on the other side of the door. I kept panicking, getting panicky.
Why were you getting panicky?
I don't know.
Okay. You know that you're safe now. So looking back on that life, did you have any feelings about it? Anything that you've learned from it?
Be honest with yourself, and it will all come together.
That's a good thing to carry with you into this life.
It wouldn't let me. But if I looked into detail, it was cloud. There was cloud in it all.
That's okay.
Couldn't get the name of the town fully.
That's all right. Nothing's right or wrong. Sometimes our subconscious doesn't want us to need to know anything more than is revealed.
With this particular hypnosis session, I was slightly concerned when we were looking at it from a research perspective. I don't see how we could have tracked such an individual. I'm not a researcher, I'm not a professional researcher at all. And I looked at it and thought, that would be very challenging to identify. She was talking about being a man or a boy in Syria. She was talking about being in Rome, going through Spain. It was quite a journey, quite a life. Very far back, so that's already quite challenging to trace.
I find it very fascinating when people are talking about different countries, different languages, because why are they not speaking Italian, or why are they not sort of saying names in an Italian form? And I think there's two parts to that. There have been cases, I haven't had them, but there have been cases of hypnosis where the person has spoken in a really strong accent, or they have actually started speaking a language. They were obviously somnambulant and went really, really deep and were very connected. But I think also, because we are really looking through virtual reality goggles, we're sitting in the chair as us, but we are accessing the memories of who we were somewhere else. I think our subconscious translates because we know that our language, our immediate language, is English. I think that's probably why. So that translation thing can get a bit confusing, I think.
It was quite a beautiful tale. I like how much she was smiling when she was talking about her love, Locinta. It was very sweet. And the idea that he ended up with somebody that was just happy. He just wanted to be around somebody that was happy. And I just thought that was very sweet.
Again, Sarah was remembered her life as a male, which always makes me smile. It didn't seem to faze her at all. In fact, she didn't seem to find it strange. It was, again, a very believable life. She was working, building, making toys, wooden toys for children that they sold. The tools that she described, they sounded like the kind of tools that you would have used many years ago to make toys. I thought it was quite beautiful as well that towards the end then he found himself a wife, Lottie, that he evidently loved and adored. So I just thought it was a beautiful experience. A bit of frustration because she could never remember place names. She had them on the tip of her tongue but never quite got them out. And that was a bit frustrating. On a couple of occasions I think she referred to the Colosseum, and it seemed to me that she wasn't by the Colosseum, but it seemed to me that she could see the Colosseum. That was my impression. But it was a bit frustrating that we were so close to getting detail but never quite got it. Sarah is a very good subject because she goes very deep. And I suspect that there's a lot of past lives that we're going to be able to extract from her under hypnosis. So she appears in the first series of Phoenix Theory. She appears in the pilot, and I think we're going to show you her session that we filmed during the pilot later on in this series. But we will hopefully be using Sarah again in future series because she's a great subject. She goes very deep when she's hypnotised, and it is quite easy to hypnotise. She goes under very quickly. Angelina asked Sarah what she'd got to take out of that life. I thought Sarah came up with a beautiful ending. She said, be honest and it'll all come together. I thought that was a nice message to take out of life.
Wiggle your toes and stuff. You went deep. How are you feeling?
I kept on getting, it was panicky. It felt ever so often, it kept getting panicky.
Yeah, and actually you weren't showing it. So I wasn't aware of it until you actually said it, and then I kind of moved you on. But that was interesting. What did you feel that the panic was about?
No, it was just sort of, it just felt really sort of. And then when I was trying to find, couldn't find the name of the town. I couldn't finish it. And then it was, it just felt really weird. It didn't feel as clear as last time.
But you were quite specific about a lot of things, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Locina Casa.
Yeah, that's quite a funky name, isn't it? Yeah, Locinta Picasso. It's a very Italian sounding name, isn't it? And I think the dates sort of as you got older,
I got the impression I couldn't read.
Yeah.
Just more creative.
Yeah. That would make sense why you couldn't remember the name. Yeah. The only thing I was thinking was Syracuse is Sicily.
Oh, really?
But it doesn't start with a C. I think it begins.
I read it on on my phone and I couldn't find anything obvious, but we can go looking for that.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was a happy life overall. Although when you were younger, it sounded like you were scared because of your dad's trouble that he brought with him.
Yeah.
I wondered, because when I was looking up different things, and I came up with a word that essentially meant criminal in Italian, and it was very similar. So I wondered if your brain was screaming criminal, and that's where you.
What was the word?
I remember I found it earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, when you were saying about Locina's clothes, that was really interesting because Baroque period, wasn't it? It was just on the cusp of the Baroque period,
yeah.
And Italy, that would have been absolutely smack central of that kind of fashion because
yeah.
Bach and Handel. That was it. Siriama.
Ah, okay.
Siriama is
beginning with C.
Yeah. Siriama is crime.
How interesting.
Because you were saying the guys look
guys look dodgy. Yeah.
I wonder why it wouldn't let me.
Well, like you
maybe
said,
because I couldn't read. I don't know.
Yeah,
would it not? Be. But then you'd think you'd see the rest of the letters, wouldn't you?
Well, I always think, like I've said, I can't remember what I had for breakfast last week. So you're going back to 17 something. Why would your subconscious find it really easy? Not necessarily. It wouldn't always come back.
What's lovely was that when you talked about Lottie, there was so much love.
I know, and you were really smiling. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You were really smiling, and you're like, oh, she's happy. She's always.
She made you happy.
Yeah.
So I have had a better life. I've been a man.